What's going on, everybody? Rob Ferretti here, and as you know, I rent cars, and not all of them are red, but the red ones do pretty good. I've got cars that perform better and some that perform worse, right? A lot of people, when you go online and they start talking about exotic car rental companies, they only sell you on like, it's cool, it makes your payment, you get a free Lambo, blah, 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 blah. They don't tell you the realities, and it's always the same story, right? It's always, yeah, car goes out for 30 days a month at $1,000 a day. That's 30 grand a month. That's $360,000 a year for one car. Think about if you had 10 cars. That's $6 million. Complete horse crap. Absolutely. So some of my cars do better. Some of my cars do worse. As I've said in the past, full utilization during peak season, especially if you're seasonal, for me is about 18 days a month. Because if this car goes out today at 3 o'clock, comes back tomorrow at 3 o'clock, I'm not going to have another customer there at 3:01 to take the car. It's not like a Hertz or an Avis where it's like it comes out of the car wash and there's somebody else waiting to sit in it and drive it away. So you can't get 30 days unless the car goes out by the month or by the week or something like that. Then that's the only time you really see 30-day utilization. But I realized that one of my cars is obviously not holding its weight. It's not doing as well. And I'm like, wow, you know, I've had this car for a while and it's usually sitting here every weekend. And especially in peak season, that's when I realize I've got a dud, because I'll come into my warehouse in the summer, and if there's stuff sitting here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'm like, oh, why is that car still here? Sometimes it's just a timing thing, but sometimes if I start seeing this car weekend and weekend and weekend sitting in my shop, I'm like, something's wrong there. And it's not that it's priced wrong, it's just that there's not enough demand for it. Now, I've got two different websites funneling into this fleet of cars to get people out. The Gotham website, and I have another website called Metro Dream Cars. So they both funnel the leads into this company to then keep the utilization up on the cars. I've had cars that have been worse utilization, because I looked up this car, and you don't even know what car it is. It's not behind me, but it's over there. Here, come on, we'll walk over. We'll use it as a pawn, because it knows I'm talking about it. It's the Audi R8, and it's not that the Audi, let's go this way, good idea, Yasmin. It's not that the R8 is a bad car, right? The R8 is a very good car, and that's why I was like, oh, we should totally get this. It's reliable, it's not going to give me any headaches, people love it, especially when they drive it, but they don't love it enough to rent it frequently, and I think it's falling into the lines of like, it's still an Audi, right? Like when people rent cars, they know Corvette, they know Ferrari, Lamborghini, Maserati, Aston Martin. Audi, it's like, oh no, like, yeah, I drive an Audi. And I see this when we sell like private events or private tours, and I start to putting together a car list. And I'm like, all right, we've got these cars. And Porsche's another one that they usually say, no, these guys all have Porsches already. I'm like, all right, well, they probably don't have this one, but that's fine. And then the Audi, oh no, we don't want any Audis on it. So even though this car is theoretically a Lamborghini Huracan, in sheep's clothing, it is not appealing enough to justify carrying it. Now, the numbers are going to support that. Now, I've had cars that have performed worse over the years, and the one that I thought would be awesome was the Celine S7, which was the worst rental car we've ever had. Nobody could drive it. We had it for like 2 years. I was the guy who ended up driving most of it. I think it went out maybe 3 times in 2 years, because we had people rent it and then bring it right back, because it's like completely unusable, but I was used to it, so I enjoyed driving around until it spit coolant all over the place. The other cars that we've had that haven't performed well were also stick shift, right? So if you think about the pool of people, first off, in the United States or whatever that can even drive stick, it's like 10%. What's the percentage of people who have the money and the desire to rent exotic cars? Just say it's 2% of the population. Now, what percent of that 2% can drive stick? It makes stick shift cars not work out so well for us. And the other problem we had is every stick shift car we ever had has gotten crashed. So that's no longer in our business plan to carry manual transmission cars. But I decided to look up what this utilization was, because I've been seeing this car sitting here. We bought this Audi. It's a 2017 R8 V10, and we bought it for $160,000, give or take, from Lamborghini Paramus in April of 2020. So it was April 19th, 2020. We bought it just about, let's just say 26 months ago to the day. And I started looking at our logs, and I'm like, all right, let's see what this generated. Now, that car goes out for $1,000 a day. That's pretty much what you need to charge for a car that you're paying $160,000 for. And I ended up looking it up, and I counted not how many customers rented the car, but how many times the car went out. So if a customer rented it for 5 days and we charged them $5,000, I took it as 5 days, not one rental. So that car's been out 77 days in a little over 2 years. Now, do the math. 365 days a year, that's 760, it's roughly 760 days in which this car could have gone out, and it's gone out 77. So this illusion that these cars are going to go out, you go buy a car, you give it to a guy, and it's going to go out 30 days a month, is complete horseshit. Because that car has generated, even, let's just say 77 days, just say on average it's generated $900 a day, right? So just say it generated $65,000. My carrying cost on that car is $3,000 a month. So you got $3,000 a month, which is $36,000 a year. Do the math. That car has very possibly lost money for me over the last 2 years. So now I'm just tying up equity in a car that has cost me $72,000 and has made me $72,000, $65,000, whatever it is. It's not worth doing. It doesn't cover any additional overhead. It's just barely justifying keeping it in the warehouse. So do I get rid of it now? I looked at that and I'm like, I should probably be monitoring this stuff a little bit more frequently. I haven't been, but that car has got to go. But now is not the time to sell it, because now June, July, August is when it carries most of its weight. So I think the next best thing, because it's only got 15,000 miles on it right now, is to fire sale it. And when I say fire sale it, I'm going to rent that car out for the remainder of the summer at $500 a day. So instead of $1,000 a day, $500 a day. I don't think the extra couple thousand miles on the car are going to impact its value. But if I could squeeze another $20,000, $25,000 of use out of this car and turn it from a dud to at least justifying offing it and not losing money and at least breaking even or making a couple of bucks, it's going to be worth it. Because I don't think even where it's at now, the car is probably worth $125,000, $117 or something wholesale. And I would usually sell it $117,000 or $120,000. But if I can make a couple of bucks by renting it for 50% off for the rest of the summer, that's great. So if you're interested in driving an R8, $500 a day, you got to get it from us. I can deliver it anywhere you need as long as it's more than 3 days. And it's $500 a day, not like if I take it for 5 days, is it less than $500 a day. That's 50%. It's cheaper than the Corvette, right? So think about that. But this car goes out. That car is going to go for $500 a day, no minimum number of days, 1 day, but you pick it up from us. Anything over 3 days, we will add the ability to have it delivered to you. Still get your 100 miles per day, standard $4.95 a mile above that, but I've got to get this thing out. I may send it on adventure drives if somebody wants to rent it for the adventure drives trip. Speaking of the adventure drives trip, we've got the raffle, which closes in like 3 days. So 2 or 3 days. It's coming up soon. That also is underperforming. You guys are just costing me money across the board here. So if you want to have great odds of coming on the adventure drive trip and getting a rental car and getting your flights covered, check out the Super Speeders store in the description. We're doing a drive July 20th to 28th. Denver, Vail, Telluride, Aspen, Moab, Sedona, Monument Valley, Horseshoe Bend, Lower Antelope Canyon, and then over to Phoenix. So that's going to be a good drive. It's going to be a lot of fun. And for the cost of as little as $5, you'll be able to have a chance to come on this trip. But as I said, the odds are pretty good. So if you want to scoop some merch up in the merch store, check it out. If you want to drive the R8 and save me a little bit of headache this year, you're more than welcome to check out MetroDreamCars.com, which is the website that actually has the photos of the cars. Or you can get us through Gotham Dream Cars as well. But I think it's important to give you the real side of the rental business, because a lot of people just make it seem like this is such a great business, but you don't see all the overhead and you don't see the potential for loss. And if I've been doing it for 20 years and I'm potentially losing money, guess what? You not knowing what you're doing, you not having a built-in customer base that you're bringing to the table, stand a greater chance of losing money if you get the wrong car or the wrong market, or you have it at the wrong time, or something goes wrong. There's a lot of stuff that you're not factoring in. and it's not all sunshine and roses. So buy my ebook and you'll figure out how to turn no money down into a budding $60 million a year business, like that clown on Turo, that girl who had 69 cars. You haven't heard anything from her since that Business Insider article, have you? Yeah. Rob Ferretti, keeping it real. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.